the year. The Rally of Portugal coming up as round 3 in the championship after wins so far in the season in the Monte Carlo Rally for Subaru and in the Swedish Rally for Mitsubishi. First day, so 11 stages, with a change of start point from the Estoril circuit to Figueira de Fez instead. Well, fastest on the opening stage, 4 times world champion Juha Kankkunen, and winner of the Portugal Rally in 1992 and last year in 1994. Toyota certainly seem to have cured their lack of power and lack of speed from the first 2 events. A lot of work going on the electronics, controlling the engine, and the Toyota drivers are a lot more happy with the usable power of the Celicas.
Flat left 70, flat left and long easy right.
Nicky Grist giving the notes.
Long fast left narrows, and easy right, 120.
Kankkunen certainly in flying form, setting 5 of the fastest stages times out of 9 stages. An excellent performance. Carlos Sainz, the winner of the Monte Carlo Rally. He retired in Sweden after Subaru had all sorts of engine problems, and indeed suffering from a lack of power on this initial day in Portugal.
Derecha buenamente, se tira poco y se abre. Para izquierda calenta, abrirse, tiene buena posición, tercera en cruz y se cierra. Para uno frenando mucho, derecha media se cierra. Sasar, para izquierda que corta, 1.
Lewis Moyer giving the pace notes, but Sainz would attack Kankkunen's lead later in the day and really put the pressure on. Francois Delacour for Ford, who took his first ever World Championship Rally win here in Portugal back in 1993. But it wasn't to go quite so well on this occasion. Take a look from on board. Delacour just clipping a boulder on the inside of the left-hander, flicking the car up onto 2 wheels and then over onto its roof. Well, the spectators were soon on hand to try and get him upright again. And indeed, they were able to carry on through to the end of the stage and get to the service halt. We spoke to Delacour as he arrived.
You seem to have given the mechanics quite a lot to do at this service. What's actually happened?
Nothing really bad, because it was in a very, very slow corner. In the first gear, I cut too much the corner. There was big rocks, and then after I rolled, and I was calling somebody to help me to put the car again on the wheel, and I lose about 1 minute 30, 1 minute 40. But the car is still okay. There is not a big problem. Only the body shell is bad.
Is Catherine all right after the roll?
Yeah, no problem. But the big problem for us was to do 50 kilometers without screen, and it was very cold in the car.
Well, Delacour making it through to that halt, but a lot of work for the mechanics, and indeed worried about steering and suspension problems, losing him quite a lot of time. He lost 8 minutes as extra repairs were made. We spoke to John Taylor, the operations manager for the RAS Ford team, about the incident.
John, what was actually the problem there?
Well, when the car came to go, they checked the steering again, and they found that it was not safe for the car to proceed, so they had to change the power steering rack. And we have a maximum lateness out of a service of 10 minutes, and to change the rack and get everything bled in time wasn't possible. So we sent the car away. The rack is on, the steering's okay, it doesn't have power steering.
Well, power steering or not, in fact, didn't make much difference, because Delacour retired 2 stages later with oil pressure failure, and perhaps the engine suffering from that earlier roll. What of the reigning world champion Didier Auriol? Well, things not going too well.
Better engine than Swedish, but okay. Handling, it's not perfect, I think. So just see on our first stage what happened, and after.
Auriol was actually coming up to 2nd place to Kankkunen, and so things improving for the Frenchman with the Toyota after a difficult start to the season for him as well. Colin McRae, Britain's hope in the Subaru, one of the fastest drivers in gravel stages normally, and staying in the top 5, but definitely suffering a big lack of power from the Subaru. Perhaps ProDrive deciding to play a little safe on engine specification after the problems in Sweden, but McRae certainly complaining about the lack of power that he was getting from his flat 4-cylinder engine. Bruno Thierry is the second representative for
You think that
Ford.
this could be the one for you?
Yes, I hope to win one rally. I hope that I don't wait 4 or 5 years to win my first rally. I try to do my best to be in the podium anyway here in Portugal. I try.
Well, Thierry was certainly going pretty well, up into the top 7 on the first day, but not quite able to match the pace of the front-running Toyotas and Subarus. Armin Schwartz was in the third of the Toyotas and flying through the air with no problems at all. He's retired 4 times on his previous tries on the Portuguese rally, so hoping for better things this time, but poor tyre choice holding him back. Another British driver, Richard Burns, his first rally for 3 months and the first time competing in Portugal, supporting his teammates Carlos Sainz and Colin McRae, and gradually settling himself in to the job. Also acting as a support driver, Alex Fiorio for the Ford team. Also hasn't been rallying for quite a while. Last time he was in a rally car was last September, so it was taking him a few stages to get it together. In Group N, Isolde Holderried, the German lady driver, was going very well indeed in the Mitsubishi Lancer.
Mag als Psychiater. Links 3 plus 1. Macht auf 30 links volltort.
No Group A cars here in Portugal. The winners from Sweden, Mitsubishi, deciding not to take part in this event, but hoping that they can still gain points from Group N. In Formula 2, Gregoire de Mévius going well.
With Nissan.
It's good to be back. Yes, I enjoy it very much, and it's nice to be here also. I think it's a very nice rally, and so all together I'm quite happy.
On board here with Pavel Sabira in the Skoda. But Skoda weren't to have quite such a successful run of it on this occasion. Emil Treiner in the second of the cars here. Both cars in the top 20 on the first day, but both would go out on day 2 with gearbox failure. Well, as the day carried on through and into the night stages, Carlos Sainz dramatically grabbed the lead on the very last stage. It was only a tenuous lead of 6 seconds.
Of course, when you are leading, it's always better than when you are behind, even if it is for a few seconds.
Well, what about leading the rally out? Is that going to play a part tomorrow?
No, I don't think it is a big difference. The only thing is if it is a surprise or a mud, which you don't expect, maybe opening the road is not so good, but I prefer to open the road. I have no problem.
And how about this for a problem for Juha Kankkunen, hitting the grass bank? We spoke to him about it.
Just hit the stone and bent, the steering arm, and then I was trying to fix it myself, but we had only 8 minutes, so I couldn't do. I just managed to do it a little bit, but it was very difficult to drive on the last stage and lost some time there. Very simple, but I try again tomorrow.
So already it was turning into a huge battle between Juha Kankkunen and Carlos Sainz, with only 6 seconds separating them at the end of the first leg. We were in for a real treat. Didier Auriol in third and Colin McRae holding on to 4th place in his Down & Power Subaru. The map for day 2, another 11 stages, will start at 8 o'clock in the morning. And the start being held traditionally at the Lousada Rallycross circuit, where the cars actually run off against one another on a mixture of tarmac and loose surface. Starting things off, Carlos Sainz versus Juha Kankkunen. Well, this an immensely popular stage of the Portuguese rally, always attended by thousands of people and shown live on Portuguese television. A chance for the rally drivers to actually see their competition and be up against each other, which only happens once or twice a year. similar to the Race of Champions event held at the year, but this just acting as one of the stages for the Portuguese rally. Well, Kankkunen out to beat the stage record, which was currently held by Carlos Sainz, and indeed Kankkunen was very quick indeed and was able to take the advantage over the Spaniard. Kankkunen's time would actually be matched by his teammates. Well, away from the Lousada Rallycross circuit and back into the Portuguese countryside. And the battle continuing between Sainz and Kankkunen. Well, Sainz won the Portuguese rally back in 1991 and was now the first man on the road and trying to set the pace and get away from Kankkunen.
Derecha media de tierra. Sasar, para izquierda que corta. Uno, derecha en rasante, para izquierda buena corta en terceras de tierra y no corta. Roderas. Para derecha acá mucho ras.
Well, Sainz was certainly attacking very, very hard indeed, but Kankkunen was beginning to close up the gap a little bit. By stage 14, they were equal on time, and Kankkunen was giving it absolutely full commitment in an attempt to take Toyota's first win of the year. By the halfway point through this second day, he'd actually taken the lead, fastest on 3 of the 4 opening stages. Colin McRae was up into 3rd place because what had happened to Didier Auriol? Well, we can see on board. Didier just clipping the inside of the corner. We spoke to him about the incident.
Didier, we saw Bernard's door come open in Faf. What was the problem?
Bernard, it's fine. It's go, I go too fast, so he won't go. It's why he opens the door always in the stage.
He wanted to get out.
Exactly, yes.
Bernard Oselli, his co-driver, getting a bit of a massage after that incident. It had dropped them down a place. Back with the Rally of Portugal, and we're on board with Isolde Holderried, 16th overall and lying 3rd in Group N in the Mitsubishi Lancer. Was Mitsubishi certainly going well with Jorge Recalde in 2nd place in Group N, and leading in Group N the local man Rui Madeira, also in a Mitsubishi Lancer and the reigning Portuguese Group N champion. Alex Fiorio was now up into 9th overall, having only driven this Ford Escort Cosworth on 1 previous occasion. Gradually getting used to the car and improving his pace and performance. Richard Burns was still taking things fairly steady and very conscious of his factors, being in a support role to the team leaders, holding on to 8th place overall. Marcus Grunholm was in a fine 7th position in his privateer Toyota Celica. And Bruno Thierry in the other of the Ford Escort Cosworths was holding on to 6th place overall. He was driving flat out to maintain that position, and at one case had to straighten his suspension after a little incident against a rock. Certainly some narrow confines in these Portuguese stages. Armin Schwartz up to 5th position. He had one stage victory on this second day and had counted himself lucky not to have rolled at one point. A long, tiring day for the German driver, but gradually getting more and more to grips with the latest Toyota. Didier Auriol now in 4th position, trying to fight back after that earlier roll and keeping the pressure on McRae in front. Well, McRae holding on to 3rd place and managing to keep ahead of last year's world champion. It's been a little disappointing in terms of results so far this year for McRae, so his most important thing was to get a finish in the points. He took one stage victory as well on this second day. Back on board with Carlos Sainz, now in 2nd position, but still close to Juha Kankkunen. But it was Juha Kankkunen who put in an absolutely superb drive throughout the day, taking 5 fastest stage times out of the 11 stages held on the second leg. A superb performance, and one that was just keeping him the lead, a prospect that seemed well out of reach a few weeks ago in Monte Carlo. Back at the halt, we spoke to Carlos Sainz.
I've been trying very hard the whole day, but risking a lot. Maybe I take 1 or 2 seconds in one stage, but in the next one, you take 5-6 seconds. So I think at the moment it's no chance for us.
Well, the Toyota team were in high spirits.
Yes, we are very pleased at the moment, but we still have, I think we have a very hard day tomorrow, and they have also forecasted rain, so Arganil is a notorious place.
You must be pleased with how the day's gone.
Yes, I am, because I was 5 seconds behind this morning and now 22 in front, so good day.
The Toyotas look very powerful today. Where's the extra power from?
I don't know, it's from here maybe.
So the results after leg 2, and Juha Kankkunen now with a 22-second lead over Carlos Sainz. McRae holding on to 3rd, a little ahead of Didier Auriol. Then Armin Schwartz in 5th place. On to the 3rd day, and plenty of stages and a difference in conditions this time. Heavy rain suiting the Subaru and the Pirelli tyre combination more than the Toyota and Michelin's. Well, Kankkunen, who'd lost out a little bit in the wetter conditions the previous day, was expected to lose more time in the early part of the day, but in fact he managed to hold on to the lead in the opening stages, but due to his own admission, that was by taking quite a few risks. Carlos Sainz, however, after the first couple of stages, was beginning to close up. Subaru had never taken a victory in Portugal previously. Could this be the first time? These wetter stages certainly suiting the Spaniard and the car. Colin McRae holding on to his 3rd position on stages much more like the ones he's used to in the UK. McRae had a slightly frightening moment during this 3rd and final day of the Portuguese rally when he hit a spectator, but glad to report that the spectator was not badly hurt. Didier Auriol was still having 1 or 2 problems. Even world champions make mistakes. But it wasn't helped by the fact that he'd actually lost 2nd gear by this point on the stage.
You had a little problem on that on this last section. What happened?
Yeah, just little go off. I arrive in braking very slippery, but the problem I have no 2nd gear always for stop the car and for put little power. So I am just in 3rd gear, but no possibility to stop the car, so I just poof.
That allowed Armin Schwartz to take over 4th position from his teammate Didier Auriol. And then after Didier Auriol down to 5th was Bruno Thierry in 6th position. He was certainly finding the stages very, very slippery indeed. In fact, comparing them to stages on the Ivory Coast Rally. He took 2 spins, but thankfully didn't lose too much time. Marcus Grunholm was in 7th place, but unfortunately it was about to go wrong for him. An unfortunate accident saw him go off heavily into the trees, and it would be too much to repair the car. He was out of the rally. It allowed Richard Burns to come up into 7th position. In Formula 2, Gregoire de Mévius was out with a broken gearbox. And just when it looked as though that would favour the Opel team, Freddie Loire, the other favourite, went out on the last day as well. So the winner in Formula 2, the surprise, was Per Giorgio Della in his Peugeot 306. Isolde Holderried took 3rd place in Group N, and a useful addition to the points in her Group N challenge for the year. Jorge Ricaldi took 2nd in Group N, and making it a 1-2-3 in that section, the standard showroom section, Rui Madeira took the win.
Carlos seems to be on a charge. Is there anything that you can do to hold him back?
I try my best and then we will see.
Is the car performing okay?
Yes, it's going all right, but seems to be when it's this funny surface, we are always losing a lot of time on those.
And what of the local hero in Group N?
Rui, you must be very pleased the way things have gone on this event so far.
Yes, today we have we do a really good race, not so faster than yesterday, but we don't need to go faster, and I hope to finish in the first place and the first Portuguese, because it's very important for my sponsors.
This is a very good team performance.
Yes, of course. The first 3 places in Group N, all for Mitsubishi.
Birthday celebrations for Alex Fiorio, celebrating his 30th birthday and still well in the top 10. So the battle now really was on between Jörg Kankkunen and Carlos Sainz. The final few stages to go, and Kankkunen doing his best to withstand the pressure from the Spaniard.
And K left. And long fast right to small crest, and long bad left to crest. And medium left. And long K right. 50. Very long medium left. 50. Long easy left.
But Carlos Sainz was not to be outdone. He was fastest on the last 2 stages, took 6 stage victories in all on this final day, and he went as far as lightening the car by removing the spare wheels. He took a narrow win by just 12 seconds.
Congratulations, a superb battle. You had drama on the last stage, I believe.
Yeah, after 2 kilometers I got a little bit one bend and a branch got the front brake pipe, and I have to drive 7 kilometers with only rear brakes, so I thought I lost the rally, but I don't know.
Corto frenando, derecha buena.
Well, a remarkable incident.
Brakes, and then I said to Carlos, we're going to win with our brakes. And now I always believe in God, but now I have to believe even more, because I think when you have to win, you're going to win. We've been close to go off the road, and I'm not lying, at least 10 times on the stage, but we still managed. So when we got past the flying finish, I didn't know what was happening, but then as soon as I saw all the Spanish people with bottles of champagne, then I realized we'd won.
A great result for Team Boss.
This must make up for your disappointment in Sweden.
Yes, I don't think you can ever make up for losing all 3 cars, but all 3 cars look like they're here at the finish, and Carlos winning, and it's been one of the most exciting events of certainly this year, and I think for the last 12 months.
Well, Carlos Sainz, amazed to see that he'd actually broken that front brake pipe and still managed to take the victory on that last stage, and by such a small margin as well. 12 seconds the difference between Sainz and Kankkunen at the end of a classic rally, and a superb battle between the two. Colin McRae getting some points at last this season in 3rd position. Schwartz and Auriol for Toyota 4th and 5th. In the World Drivers' Championship, then, Carlos Sainz takes a narrow lead, just 3 points over Jörg Kankkunen. Tommy Mäkinen and Kenneth Eriksson not rallying in Portugal, but they will be back. In the Manufacturers' Series, Mitsubishi, thanks to that Group N 1-2-3, still hold a 10-point lead over Toyota. So, on to the next round, which will happen on May the 4th, the Tour de Corse in Corsica, and there certainly will be another big battle there, and you'll be able to see it here on Eurosport.